Let's get started. Episode 10 is episode 10 is where I left off, and oh my god, there were so many things going on. Where we left off like 5 weeks ago, it was like 3 weeks ago, saying goodbye to Dr. L because something was going on in the other side of the town. So the Rangers go, they say their goodbyes to Dr. Owen. So they teleport to this motocross area that is abandoned. Hint hint, wink wink, nudge nudge, ninja storm reference, maybe, probably, most likely. They go there, trying to see what's going on, and then they see none other than Scorpina. Yes, she's back again for this episode. So they see Scorpina there with with the ship, most likely the Alliance ship. They talk, saying like, what do we do? Do we fight? Do we talk? And she sees them, and she just goes straight for an attack, and she goes for Marv. Jack tries to talk to her when they're fighting, and she's like, she wants to save the world. And they were like, how can we help you? But they just end up fighting. Everyone jumps in. Vesper, Chloe, Eddie jump in. I believe Vesper knocked her out, so she was unconscious. So they tie her up. They want to talk to her to see what she knows. Eddie is like, let's try to wake her up. Eddie wakes her up. They ask her why she's here, and she won't comply. She's just staying quiet. So what they do is just tie her up. They send her to the ship, and then they tie her up to a chair. While they're there, they're talking about the Alliance plans. They're talking about the plan, how they want to revive Zordon, and they want to stop Zordon from sacrificing himself so they can make him evil and bring all that evil to the future to destroy the Time Force Rangers. Vesper tries to befriend Scorpina, but when they see the chair, she's not there anymore, and all the power goes out. So this is the time where they go Scooby-Doo style, and they split up to search for clues. Where is Scorpina, and where can she be hiding? Jack, Chloe, and Vesper go to the kitchen while Eddie and Marv go walk around the halls of the ship. This episode had a lot of character development. We learned more about each and every character on HyperForce and their background story. Jack, Chloe, and Vesper right now in the kitchen. We find out that Jack was doing research on Chloe, Vesper, Eddie, Marv, because he was alone for so long. For the kids, they were gone for like a day. But for Jack, it was weeks of him being alone in the ship, not knowing what to do. So he was researching his comrades while they were gone. They make their way to the kitchen. Now they're in their bedrooms. They hear something under the bed. So Jack lifts the cushion up, and it's something from his past. What we find is that there's a dog there under the bed, happy and excited to see Jack. And we find out that Jack used to have a dog named Forge, but he sadly passed away, and Jack is confused. He's wondering why this dog is here. He tells himself that it's not real, that it's just a figment of his imagination, but we learn that they're able to touch him, they're able to play with him, to speak with him. Chloe and Vesper are like, oh, you have a dog, this is a happy reunion, you're back here with him. But Jack tells them that this can't be true. Like, as much as he wants to play with me and have fun, this can't be true because he's been shut down for 10 years now, so he shouldn't even be here. He's facing them, he's facing Chloe and Vesper, and then when he turns around, the dog is gone. Let's hope Marv and Eddie are having a better adventure. Marv and Eddie are together, and they're walking back to back, so Marv is facing one way and Eddie's facing behind them, so they can have each other's back, like literally, in case they get jumped. Marv sees something or someone in the distance. He sees his brother Joe, and he starts going crazy. He starts smiling, he starts laughing, he starts crying. He wants to know why Joe is here. Has Joe been on the ship the whole time but just been hiding? Why is Joe dead? We don't right now, like as the viewer, we don't know if Joe was dead or alive. Eddie sees this and he knows something's up. He knows that Joe can't be on the ship because all this time, where has he been? Has he been hiding? But when Marv is asking questions like, oh man, I missed you, where are you been, I love you, Joe speaks as he's a zombie. He's just like, oh, hi Marv, how are you doing? I missed you too. Like he's speaking like a zombie, and Eddie knows something's up. Marv looks at Eddie and tells him like, dude, this is my brother, he's finally here, we're finally reunited. But Eddie's like, no, that's not your brother, you're saying what you want to believe. Like, Marv, you know this can't be true. You know this can't be possible, because he just shows up out of nowhere where everything's all dark and Scorpina's on the loose. This just can't be, like, you can't be this dumb, Marv. Marv kind of gets mad at Eddie. He's like, how come you're not believing me? Like, you're my friend, you're supposed to be on my side. But Eddie's just like, nope, not this time. So Eddie's like, I think being separated isn't gonna help, so I'm gonna go and look for the others. Like, you can be here with your brother, but just know that this isn't real. So Marv goes to hug his brother Joe, but when he closed his arms, he wasn't there anymore. Joe disappeared. Jack and the others actually come and find them in the hallways, and they see Marv just sad. So they start comforting him, like, what happened, and they explain that Joe was here with them. So when they're together again, they call Alpha and the communicators, like, hey Alpha, is there anything weird? Can you find if there's any disturbances in the ship? Like, is there anything anywhere in the ship that's acting weird? So Alpha does what he can, and at this time Marv starts talking about his brother and that he was a Time Force cadet and just disappeared. So we don't know if he's alive or he's dead. Alpha seems to be having trouble with the ship, so he calls the two technology experts, the two smart ones, Vesper and Eddie, to come and help. So Vesper and Eddie go to Alpha. But as they're walking along, Eddie sees something from his past. He sees this girl. Her name is Bianca. They talk. They're old friends. They're catching up. Good memories. Eddie knows something's up. He doesn't know why she's here. Apparently, Eddie was supposed to marry Bianca when they got older. So when they're talking, Eddie calls for Vesper, like, Vesper, like, can you come here? But Vesper's a little bit busy with one of the wires, and Bianca's like, who's Vesper? She your new girlfriend? Like, what is this? Eddie tries to leave, but when he leaves, Bianca grabs him by the hand. It's like, don't go. Like, come on, let's catch up some more. And Eddie's just like, you're not real, you're not real, you're not real. So Vesper realizes that Eddie's taking long, so she walks back to Eddie, and she sees Bianca holding Eddie's hand, so she attacks, and before she attacks, she disappears. And Vesper gets jealous. She's like, so who was this girl? Like, do you know her? And Eddie's like, yeah, she was just an old friend. Like, so your old friend is a ghost? So you're saying me, your current girl, your girl with a friend is an android, so you used to be into ghosts? Like, it's cool, whatever, you know what, I don't care. And it's funny because she kind of got jealous, and they had the whole situation. It's like, oh, ever since they found out she was an android, things have been weird. Vesper and Eddie meet up with Alpha, and when they see Alpha, Vesper goes up to him and is like, oh, like, are you real? Are you a ghost? Like, please tell me something I know. And Alpha's like, ay, like, just leave me alone. Like, I'm here. Like, I'm not a ghost. So Vesper and Eddie are working on different parts of the ship, and when Vesper looks up, Eddie's in front of her, but something seems different. He seems more smooth. Smooth Eddie starts chatting up Vesper. So they talk like that, like, hey Vesper, how's it going? Like, you and me haven't been doing much lately. Like, we're not friends anymore. Like, what's going on with that? Like, come on. You and me, we're ranger buds, and we can be more than that. He was talking smooth. He was, how these kids say, I don't think I can say that. I don't want to say that. But he's a boy. He's a type of boy that you don't want to mess with. So yeah. So then Eddie hears Vesper, like, in the other room. He hears Vesper talking to someone. So he goes to see what's going on, and he sees that there's this person in front of her. So he turns them around, and it's like, oh my god, that's me. You're me and I'm you. Like, what's going on? Like, is this a ghost? As soon as he could react, the smooth Eddie turns into Forge, Jack's dog, and runs away. So they contact Marv, Chloe, and Jack. They're like, hey, something's up. I don't think this is a ghost of our past. This is just something that's different and knows our backstory, because Eddie saw a girl from his past, but Vesper saw Eddie. So they tell them, like, just be careful. It might get you with something you like or something that's important to you. So then Marv has an idea, like, Chloe, you're the only one that hasn't been infected yet. Can we use you as bait? And Chloe's like, yeah, sure. Just use me as bait. Just hide, and then when I give you the signal, you attack. Chloe is walking ahead of Marv and Jack. Jack and Marv are behind, so they can see if she gets attacked by this ghost of the past. Yeah, she does. She gets confronted by a figure in front of her. Chloe's mom is the one that confronts her, and they end up talking. We find out that Chloe's parents have died, and we learned that Chloe came home from school one day and waited for her parents to come home, but they never did. So then the ghost mom hugs Chloe and is like, I love you so much. You've grown up. We learned the reason why Chloe was in the Time Force cadet program, and she did it to find her parents, but she knew that they died, and she used that as an excuse that they're still alive, and there was hope, but there wasn't. Marv starts talking to her through the communicator like, hey Chloe, like come on, like give us a signal, but she mutes it because she wants this moment to last forever. After the hug and after the talk, she gives the signal and Marv just comes in and shoots the mom. It was a touching moment, and when Chloe gave the signal, Marv just like comes out of nowhere and just shoots the ghost, but it disappears, and it kind of ruined the moment, but it was kind of hilarious how it happened. The ghost disappeared, they kind of missed and kind of hit Chloe accidentally, but they go and meet up with the others. So when they meet up with Vesper and Eddie, they talk about how this is possible. Like, can Scorpina really like know our backstory? Like, they know she can transform, but can she know our stories? Does she hack and look through our files? But they're together. Marv suggests, like, in order to find out who the ghost is or to capture this ghost creature, we need to tell one secret, and that way we know who's the real who. Jack wants to know what Chloe was stealing in the first episode of HyperForce, and because she had a box. So Jack was like, so what was in the box? And Chloe was like, well, they have this technology that's locked up and they take it for granted, so why not give it to students who are actually going to try to use this to help them in the future. Mom wants to know why Jack snitched on him when they were partners, and Jack said that Jack knew that he cheated, and that we learned that Marv became a cop because he took Joe's badge and caught up really fast. So Marv cheated in his way up to the Time Force cadets. And when they're together, they notice that Alpha's acting a little bit strange, so they restrain him. Alpha breaks free, and it turns out it's Primator. Yes, Primator is the one that's been playing games with them. So when you find out that it's Primator all along, the real Alpha comes in and goes into defense mode, and this is where it goes crazy. He opens up and a cannon comes out of his chest and shoots Primator and shoots a hole in the ship. Caught everyone completely off guard because it's like Alpha, a nice little robot, has a cannon inside him. That's kind of hard to believe. So when they see the hole in the ship, they're like, alright, we gotta land to try to fix it. So they get out of the Time Force or the HyperForce and they land their ship. They're in a forest. Primator escapes and starts to run off and disguises himself in the forest. So the Rangers have to find something out of the ordinary. Now Primator starts changing into different stuff like rocks, trees, animals. They're like, alright, if we're gonna do this, like if we get separated, we need to find a way to make sure it's actually us. And then Vesper's like, okay, if we see each other, the secret word is beep boop beep. That's what we're gonna say to make sure it's us. And then they're like, alright, that sounds like a good plan. So they go. So they're going along the forest and they see him. So they start attacking. Chloe and Marv do their tag team move that they always do. But instead of failing, they finally succeed. Chloe does this hurricane kick and aims it at Primator, and Marv goes inside the hurricane to go faster and actually hits him. Jack tries to do a headbutt, but as soon as he gets next to him, Primator turns a giant, and it's time to summon their Megazord. So Chloe was like, alright, since she's the wings, she uses a Megazord to fly up above the clouds, and she's gonna dive in to hit Primator. Everyone is scared because this is crazy, but she's like, nope, I got this, don't worry. And they hit him. This works a couple of times, but Primator eventually grabs them by the arm and breaks it. Primator breaks the Vesper side, so Vesper is disconnected from the Chronos Megazord. They try to kick him, but before they are able to, Primator dodges it and just breaks them apart. They all get destroyed and back into their Zords, but Primator gets them and just throws them everywhere. And they're lost. Chloe was the only one that was still inside her Zord, so she got separated from them. So everyone else gets out of their Zord and is on foot. Primator starts acting strange, and he turns back to his small self, and he just transforms to rocks and trees, and he starts hiding. So Marv goes up to Vesper, is like, hey, you have that hologram ability. Why don't you make a hologram of a giant banana and try to get him to come out? So Vesper's like, alright, that seems like a good idea. So she has this hologram powers, and she uses it to make a giant banana, and she's like, to make it even more beautiful, she add little anime sparkles on them. Yeah, so there's a giant banana, and a chipmunk comes out of nowhere and starts seeing at it and starts smelling it. Why is this chipmunk smelling it? Like, that's kind of weird. We're looking for Primator, not this chipmunk. Eddie's like, that's probably Primator, we can attack. But Marv's like, no, we don't want to hit wildlife. What if that's an actual chipmunk? Like, we can't just do that. We gotta make sure it's Primator. Vesper lowers the banana and the chipmunk tries to grab it, but it just goes through it since it's a hologram, and it turns around and faces the Rangers, with like red eyes and a red face, like he's angry. And then Eddie's like, I think that's premature. I think we should hit it right now. And Marvin's like, no, we can't do it. So the chipmunk runs and hides behind a rock. So when they go look at it, they see a family of chipmunks, and they're like, oh, see, Marvin's like, see, this isn't premature. It's a family of chipmunks. The one that was angry pushes the rest of the chipmunks and transforms to premature and runs away. That just happens. So the Rangers go and chase after premature, but Marv was like, oh, we gotta take care of these little ones. Like, so Marv feeds the chipmunks and puts them back together, and he goes and tries to catch up. But what he doesn't realize is that one of the baby chipmunks was in his hand. So when he notices, he's like, oh, I'll be right with you guys. He turns back, turns it in. But before he's able to turn it in, the chipmunk grows into premature and smacks him. They think something is wrong because Marv was like, hey, something's happening. This isn't the chipmunk. This was premature. So the Rangers run back, but when they run back, it's too late, and they notice that Marv is on the ground unconscious, and premature opens up a portal and puts Marv inside it. Inside the portal, they see that Scorpina's inside it, and then the portal closes. So they failed. Marv is with the enemy now, and they're lost in the middle of nowhere. So it's all quiet and dead in the forest. They lost. They all hold hands, and it's like, we're gonna save Marv. We got this. But then they hear people or something coming from the distance, and they're people on horses. They're knights. The knights introduce themselves. We're the knights of this land. Who are you guys? You guys are trespassers. Alpha gets really scared, and he just turns invisible, and it's just like disappears. And they're like, oh, that little knight has just vanished. Like, is this magic? Is this Merlin's magic? And they're like, Merlin? Like, what's going on? And apparently the Rangers are stuck in the Dark Ages. And that's episode 10 of HyperForce. That was episode 10 of HyperForce. Episode 11 and episode 12 are coming in soon, so don't worry. I will finish them. So until next time, I'll catch you guys later. Have a great day or night or wherever you are.